Well, I know that the OPA that's running this microfit and fit program, they have tens of thousands of applications in the queue. And certainly not that many have actually gone through to actually connect to the grid after an installation. But as far as rooftop installations on the houses, there's got to be close to 10,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
like just in the area?
Province-wide.
Okay,
No,
province-wide.
province-wide, yeah. We're a young company, only a couple of years old, but things in the solar industry in Ontario progress very quickly, especially for us. So when we first started doing business, we really sort of built the company on the smaller projects, some smaller rooftops, some smaller ground mounts for people that, have, pretty regular sized properties. From there, we've also done a number of ground mount tracker installations for farmers that have a little bit more property and obviously are more agriculturally oriented. And as we built the business on those smaller projects, we're now getting into the larger fit projects where it's more like a solar park type project.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the solar parks that we're involved in, there's going to be a couple in this area. It's going to be a while before we're actually breaking ground on those. There's some more solar parks that we're very close to breaking ground on, but they're further up north, sort of in the Kappas Casing, Valrita area.
Okay.
A couple really large solar farms just north of Napanee here over on Goodyear Road. I think it's great, aside from this sort of being my job and the way that I make a living, it's important to me, like these initiatives I think is the right direction for Ontario and Canada and the planet. Right. As a whole, sure, I think it was good that things were rolling on the home energy audit side of things, and things are rolling on the PV electricity side of things here in Ontario. So it's a bit of a shame that they're removing some of the incentives for people to improve, do simple improvements on their house. For people to do a solar project like we do, it's a little more expensive. They've got to have a little more capital ready to make the initial investment. People who don't have that option to them, a better place to start would be on basic improvements on their home. And
yeah.
So it's a shame that some of those incentives are going to be gone now.
Would you have?
Okay. Well, there's two sides of the OPA program that's happening right now. There's the microfit program, which is for systems that are 10 kilowatts and smaller, and that's usually what people are doing at their homes or on their farm. And anything larger than that is called a fit project. That's right into the solar project type things, solar park type projects, right? But as far as the smaller projects cost, a full 10 kilowatt ground mount tracker system that a farmer down the road might do, the total cost for that project would be right around $80,000. Now that's more than just the equipment and the labor to install it. We like to take over the whole project for somebody. So that involves us making their applications, arranging for the necessary inspections, and there's some fees along the way just to even get connected. This program is set up in Ontario through the OPA. It doesn't really make any sense for you to use some of the energy from your panels and then put the rest onto the grid. Financially, it makes sense to put it all onto the grid because you're going to get paid for every kilowatt hour you produce and put onto the grid. The key thing there is they've been paying a really nice rate for that energy.
Yeah.
If you have a microfit system on your rooftop, they're going to give you 80.2 cents a kilowatt hour. That's a big difference compared to what we actually pay in our monthly bills, right? So if you are using some of that energy for your own use, then the only thing really offsetting that investment is your monthly energy costs. 2 years or so, they'll reassess this program, and every time they do, they're going to lower the rates that they're paying people. Now, anybody who's already into the program, they have a contract that's locked in place for 20 years, so their rates don't change. Anybody coming in after the next assessment will be subject to whatever the new rates are, and they're always going to be lower. Initially, when the rates are high, it's easier to make money at it. As the rates come down, it's going to be a little more challenging. So there's always going to be an opportunity there, even as the rates come down, because you have to remember, as the OPA adjusts those rates that they're paying people, the technological partners are going to respond, right? So the companies that are making the panels for people, they're going to find a way to bring their prices down, right? So they can pass that on to their clients. And the same with the companies that make the microinverters and the other equipment that we need to use, right? At least I can speak for our clients because we do monitor the performance of their systems. I don't know how other companies go about doing an installation. If they don't do a good job, then maybe the system isn't performing very well. But we know that our systems have performed well. We always generate an energy model for somebody who's thinking of doing a project like this. And basically it's some calculations that shows them month by month what their system should be able to make. Now that we've been in business for a while and we have a number of systems connected, we've been able to compare real data to these calculations that we did. And we find that the calculations are fairly accurate, and for the most part, most of our clients are making a little bit more money than we thought they would, which is great. We wouldn't want it to go the other way. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So most of the clients are very satisfied. I'd say there's maybe sort of a rough period that you go through right at the beginning of getting into this, right? Because it takes some time before your applications get processed, so you wait there. It takes some time to install the system and get it connected to the grid, so you wait there, right? But along the way, you're still making your payments on these systems, right? So some people find themselves quite deep into paying for the system, and yet they're not yet connected to the grid and actually making their money back. So you kind of have to be patient for the first couple months or so, but once you're finally connected and generating, and they start to see those monthly deposits from the government, then they feel a lot better about what their panels are doing. Carl and Suzanne that run the company, they're husband and wife actually, and Suzanne is from Germany. So her family's been involved in the solar business in Germany for decades. So she knows her way around a little bit. She certainly understands reputations in this industry. So when they were setting up Strathcona Solar and they were trying to decide what technologies they wanted to work with, they knew that they didn't want to go with anything too prototypical, right?